Hey, everybody, welcome back to Off the Wall. I'm Mike.
And I'm Sol.
I'm Vander.
And we are back to do a 2-episode recap of House of the Dragon, Season 2, Episodes 5 and 6. Yes, okay, sorry. It's hard. Watching a lot of different shows right now. Some are on Episode 8, some are on Episode 4. Some are finished, some are just starting. It's a lot.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much. We had a lot happen this week and last week between dealing with the repercussions of the Dance of Dragons, between the fallout of the loss of Princess Rhaenys and the kind of loss of King Aegon, the out on medical leave of King Aegon, and the ascension of Prince Regent Aemond, and
he's out with COVID and he stepped down from the election.
It's exactly what happened. Everything's fine. Everybody, we're gonna be fine. So Vander, you're the guest here, and you're the far more read one of the three of us on all of these. So take us through what we got with these 2 episodes. We had some crazy dreams, some crazy dragons, some crazy shit.
Yeah, so we'll start with Rhaenys, since that's who you were talking about. Obviously, a very crushing blow. Yes, we lost Luke at the end of season 1, obviously, of a more sentimental kind of tragedy. He didn't really have a big place in the war itself, but Rhaenys, somebody who the Blacks were counting on 100% to be a crucial part of their military alliance. Very big bummer to see her go away. It seemed like, I know we talked about it a couple weeks ago after episode 4, but we did talk about how she kind of wanted it. It was almost like I don't want to say a suicide mission, but I think she knew that when she was going to get there that she might die, and she was okay with that. So beautiful moment in the show, and the aftermath of it was crushing to see Corlys just become a shell of a man instantly after losing his wife. He's pretended to be the strong one of that marriage, but I think we found out immediately after her death that he is in fact not that he was actually relying on her a whole hell of a lot. And now he doesn't know what to do about his heir, because obviously Luke died and Rhaenys isn't there to give him more guidance. Obviously he asked Baela to do it, and Baela's like, no, I'm a dragon, I'm not a ship. So yeah. I enjoyed that we got to see Corlys go through a little bit of heartbreak, and it showed a big part of his character, that he actually has a heart in this whole thing.
Max actually put up a great video on YouTube. If you go to their YouTube channel, it's a sit down between Eve Best and the actor that plays Corlys, whose name I am now blanking on.
Steve Tressant.
Thank you. And it's the two of them just and it's great. If you get a chance to watch it, check that out. Yeah, seeing the evolution of Corlys over these 2 episodes of a man who has truly just lost everything. His children are gone. The love of his life is gone. He doesn't know, like his family is in shambles. The kingdom is at war. Like what? And now she wants me to come be her guiding. I could leave. I could just go. And yeah, Baela's like, well, then go. You want to go? Go. Fine. If you'd have done it, if you were going to do it, you'd have done it already. And yeah, the moment where he's like, yeah, I if I'm gonna stick around, then you take. He has that, like that last thing Rhaenys thought of was, why not make Baela? And he's like, and it took the death of his wife for him to get there. Sol, what about you with these 2 episodes? Where are they sitting with you?
Just speaking on Corlys there, I loved that conversation that he had with Baela. It was so good, because you've seen a man who, as you said, lost everyone, his brother, his wife, his children, his heir. He's just completely a shell of himself, as Vander said. And Baela's not letting him get off with his shit. Baela's gonna be just like her grandmother, which Rhaenyra told her that she is like her grandmother. She's not going to let him get away with it. Goes, no, if you want to do it, go ahead and do it. But this is what I'm doing. This is who I'm supporting and who I'm fighting for. Also, it cracks me up that Rhaena still gets all the disrespect because Baela's going to be queen of Westeros if they win, because future queen of Westeros. So she couldn't be the heir of Driftmark. She's going to be the queen of Westeros. So that should go to Rhaena, but she's still getting disrespected. So I just found that hilarious as well.
Yeah.
Rhaena gets all the disrespect, man. It's so frustrating.
Well, maybe if she just got a dragon like everybody else, God, but we saw somebody else get a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
We also saw somebody else very much not get a dragon. Ow, poor guy. I knew he was doomed when I was like, who's this guy? Oh, we have to see it not work before we see it work. Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
I saw a meme that said Sea Smoke only prefers pretty Valyrian boys.
Seems like he only likes black dudes, apparently. He's like, I said dark skinned, not dark Lynn.
And it's interesting that and you guys probably weren't shocked by this, but it's interesting that it went to what is Alan's brother Aaron as opposed to
Adam
as opposed to Alan, because Alan's the one who's having to constantly hide his white hair. We see in this that he's shaving it constantly.
Yeah.
Adam doesn't have to do that. His hair just looks like hair. So it's interesting that the dragon went for him first.
I think it's
am
a
I
matter
reading too much into this, or am I picking up on something?
No, I mean, I wouldn't say you're reading too much into it. I think it's a very valid thing to think about. I think it's just more about Alan doesn't want a part of that. He just wants to live his regular middle class life as a shipmate under his father who made him in bastardy. But Adam is like, he's the more adventurous one. He's like I'm trying to think of a good comparison.
He's got like the heart of the rider. He's kind of got that.
Yeah.
He was looking up at Sea Smoke too in episode 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's been foreshadowed for sure this season.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we've seen him looking up at him because they even say like Sea Smoke's out there flying around. And she's like,
and going on to hair as well. In the books, Rhaenys has black hair. She doesn't have because she's a Baratheon.
Right.
And then Rhaenyra's kids, 3 of them have black hair. Mm-hmm. Jon Snow has black hair. So the Targaryens do sometimes have black hair.
Yeah. It's because this is a visual medium. And because it's a lot of characters, so having that distinctive feature, it's a Jedi with a lightsaber, it's a Vulcan with pointy,
and it's how they're able to do that in a show with lots of backstory and history, because like obviously the logistics of it just don't make sense. Like at this point, I know they and I thought it was a great idea to make the Velaryons black people. I thought it was just a good representation for people of color, but logistically, you can look at the history of things and know that Targaryens have been marrying Velaryons for a really long time. So obviously we have to know what a house looks like. Same thing with the Lannisters. Like there's no way every single one of them has golden hair, but it's just the way that visual wise, the way we have to see them in the show.
And I think the reason people, especially like some of the more obsessive Westerosi fans, get so into the hair color thing is because it was such a tent pole of the first season of Game of Thrones. Was Robert's hair of gold, that that's how that was the whole thing. So which says more about their limited understanding of genetics than anything else. But
it is a fantasy world, and technically Baratheons specifically, everybody whose father was a Baratheon has black hair. Obviously, in this show, we're seeing something different, but that's just because they kind of had to. They had to make sure that when you first looked at her, you knew that Rhaenys came from Targaryen stock.
Baratheon, it's very much like Baratheon almost seems to have like a dominant
The dominant gene, yeah.
Similar to the way Targaryens and Valerians do. So
do you think Ned made it? Ned was reading that book and made it all the way to Rhaenys Targaryen. Silver hair? She's the one? All right. Joffrey's trueborn. Shit.
All right, cool. Well, I mean, like even this, they
There's
were
the
like,
show.
with the night, they were like, yeah, your grandmother's grandmother was, and even everyone, even the people on the council made no point of hiding. Like, okay, come on. It was like that was the closest you could find, but you know, as we know, there's a reason why the Targaryens and the Valerians intermingle so much. It's to prevent this exact kind of thing from happening.
Yeah. And they were looking at lords as well, that because their understanding is that to get on a dragon, you need to be a lord. So they were looking at the people who has fallen out of the Targaryen line, but are still lords. And whereas like, nope, we got to look at some bastards over here
for sure.
and to find some dragon riders. And so they're doing it a little bit differently in the show than they did in the book.
Yeah.
But
which I love.
But I kind of like what they're doing in the show more.
Well, also something that came to mind. Sorry, Vander. Something that came to mind to me today as I watched the episode this morning, which is, you know, if Rhaenyra needs some riders, specifically like a small army of them that all hate Aegon, he's got like an entire army of blonde-headed bastards running around Westeros in fight clubs. I bet they love a chance to ride a dragon and shove one up Aegon's ass. I'm just saying. They're out there sharpening their teeth and nails and fighting in fight clubs because he couldn't keep it in his pants, let alone inside a window. And yeah, so if she wants some Targaryen blood that hates Aegon, there you go, baby. That's
the thing. They're realizing that the blood itself is more pure in the bastard-born people, because like she had to look at Stephen Darkland's grandmother's grandmother to find a trace of it in him. So now they're gonna figure out bastards are in on this too. I like the way they played it in the show. In the book, basically, that Jace and Rhaenyra just have the idea, and they're like, "Oh, okay, we're just gonna send a post out. We're gonna let everybody know, hey, if you believe you might have Targaryen heritage, come on over here, see if you can tame one." I like how they played it. Like they took it another step. They were like, let's try like the people with a little bit of the blood who are noble of birth, so on and so forth, and then obviously failed. I like that.
Like the Price is Right for Targaryen for riding a dragon. Like, come on down. 101, Bob.
The price is flight.
And in the book too, you also have the guy that Rhaenyra slaps. It's the other Valerian house that I always forget the name of. Celtigar. He also in the books gets flamed by a dragon, but I don't think that's going to happen in the show.
Plus, it's kind of like a little loophole. Like why she went for Stephen Darkland. Like Celtigar is literally a Valyrian house. Like why didn't you try him first?
Yeah,
or his son. I'm sure he's got a son or a daughter somewhere.
Well, and again, it just continues to be this feels like it's going to be Rhaenyra's arc, at least if for this season, which is, you know, because now that we're past the halfway mark, is her growing a restlessness with this situation. She's like, this has gone on way too long. This should not have been this big of an issue. Mm-hmm. And I am not allowed to do anything about it because everything I do pisses somebody off.
We saw that erupt at the end of episode 6 last night, where she found out that somebody's on Sea Smoke. She thinks it might be a traitor or somebody against them. She's like, fuck it, I'm hopping in the whip. I'm going to go find this guy.
Mm-hmm. And Jace was not too happy about it because I feel like Jace, he wants to keep his mother safe, but he also wants to be his mother's confidant. And she's over talking to Mysaria, and he's like, I don't know what you're planning here. I want you to talk to me.
Something else to consider that I think is you have to remember, like, as far as everyone else is concerned, this is her dead husband's dragon.
Yeah.
So if anyone's got a right to claim whoever the fuck is riding on that thing, it's her.
Yeah.
You know, if anyone should get a say and it should have a say in ride her husband's dragon, it's Rhaenyra. So I'm honestly, as soon as they said like someone from the Blacks might be riding, I might, because my line always went back to oh yeah, that was my late Lord husband's dragon. I keep going back to that idea. So for me, it now becomes like this just got made so personal for Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
Until she finds out who it is, obviously. But
and there was love there between her and Laenor. It wasn't romantic love, but it was definitely a familial love there. So him not being around, Loki, he was the best husband that she's had.
Well, especially when you remember the shakeup, like the things that they had to do, like the circumstances around it. That's gotta hang over you like a cloud.
But speaking of her other husband, do we want to go to Luigi's mansion?
Damon done lost his mind. He's gone. He's this is Inception. This is Jennifer Lopez in The Cell. This is just oof. This is Vander, I'm gonna ask you, was this shit in the book?
No, we have from the book perspective, we have no idea what Damon was doing in Harrenhal. All of the records are from King's Landing and Dragonstone.
I had a feeling, because if I'm being honest, it feels like they're letting, especially Matt Smith and the actress playing what's her name? Help me.
Rivers.
Alice Rivers.
Alice Rivers.
Yeah, Alice Rivers. They are letting the two of them, especially in episode 6, but they're letting Matt Smith in particular in these dream sequences chew on some fucking scenery. Oh my! Bringing back Patty Considine in episode 6 for more Viserys. Just in the veins is where I need that. Just an IV walking around in a hospital with it on a drip bag. Just that's where I need it. That's where I need him as Viserys.
And what I love about that scene too is the words are pretty much word for word what was said, but you're seeing the actual emotion that they felt that they were hiding behind when the scene actually happened. Because Damon does love his brother above all else, even above Rhaenyra. He loves his brother so much. And so he was very hurt by being sent away. Yeah. And he also is upset at himself for not being there for his brother, which we saw in the kind of dream sequence of what would have happened if he was there for his brother when his wife died.
Yeah, I wasn't here for you, and I should have been. You needed me, and that scene in the throne room where it's the throwing back of that scene where he told him he was naming Rhaenyra his heir, but the delivery is changed ever so slightly, because you're right, in that original episode he's angry, he's pissed off, he's speaking to him as the king. In this take on it, he's speaking to him as a disappointed brother, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just reeks of how much he should have gotten Emmy Gold for playing Viserys in season 1. It should.
Such a robbery.
Yeah. And we didn't speak about it yet because we weren't here last week. One of his dream sequences with his mom.
So since none of this is in the book, that says it's like so we just wrote that.
We can surmise from the books that he had some mommy issues. Not like this though. Not like this.
No, this to me is that like when you think to like some of the childbirth scenes in season 1, it's like this is them. This is HBO taking some HBO liberties. This is like, how can we HBO-ify this show a little bit? We need tits and incest. That's what we need.
And I think too, he didn't even realize it was his mother, because he's like 2 or 3 when his mom dies. So it's one of those like, who Damon is attracted to most is a blonde Targaryen who tells him that he's amazing. That is his kink.
He was really into Rhaenyra when she hero worshipped him. When he was no longer her hero, he no longer had need of her.
In season 1, it's heavily implied. This is at like the beginning of season 1, I believe, episode 1, where he's in that brothel. Him and Masari are doing their thing, and he can't keep it up. And she's like, "Would you like me to get you a silver-haired one?" So it implies that that has been his type this entire time.
Well, not only that, but even when you think about the other brothel scene involving Damon and Rhaenyra, where he's into it until he is no longer the guiding hand in the situation. When she starts to reciprocate the intensity and all that, suddenly he's not into it anymore. Suddenly it's, well, wait, no, I'm no longer 100% in control of the situation. I'm no longer into this. And it seems like whenever Damon feels and we get that from Alice Rivers in episode 6, where she's like, anytime things get hard, you turn and run. Or in the case of the brothel, anytime things get hard, you don't. So it just, that seems to be going all the way back to that. Makes that moment between him and Rhaenyra, it gives it new context of just, it continues to put into that and put into that idea of he just wants to be in control, and the moment he is not holding the leash the tightest, he's out.
Although with these dream sequences, he's becoming a changed man, because you see that with Alice Rivers there at the end, that he is actually showing vulnerability. He's asking for help, and him crying at the end too. That's not something you would see of Damon at all.
I was telling Soul before we got started that this is it's part of an arc for Damon, and they've just had to stretch it out because the show writers have such a challenge with getting 4 to maybe 5 seasons out of the show off of a couple hundred pages in the book. So I like it. I was telling Soul, I think there's probably a handful of writers out there who would have thought of something more clever and better for him, and that's all well and good, but I think these writers are doing a fine job with everything else they have that they're challenged with and they have to worry about. I think this whole haunting of Harrenhal thing for Damon, the fact almost everybody's annoyed with it at this point, especially those who haven't read the books and are just show watchers. They are very fed up with it, but they've successfully been able to stretch this out for 6 episodes, coming on 7 episodes, almost the whole season. So that's impressive in and of itself, no matter how annoyed everybody is about it.
Well, they'll get over it. Plus, you have to remember, like, you've got Matt Smith. Use him. You've got Matt Smith at your disposal with a character that from your description is not a complete blank slate, but that you've got room to play with. And if you've got an actor with the kind of range and versatility as Matt Smith, who has done everything from playing one of the goofiest versions of the Doctor ever, to truly twisted villains and other properties, and then the kind of things we've seen him do just in season 1 of this show, it's like, go nuts. And it's like the Bill and Frank episode of House of the Dragon. It's like, does it push the grander storyline along? No, but does it give us great moments of character growth and world and lore building and just that Game of Thronesy goodness that we love from the original show? Yeah, then throw it in. I'm into it. Would you rather it be shorter?
And it keeps the book readers guessing too, because this is something that's not in the book, but there is a relationship that Alice Rivers has that I don't know if they're going to do now because of the way that she's been with Damon.
Interesting. Don't say any more, because I feel like there's a spoiler that we're dancing around here. So we won't go into that. Let's see here. I want to talk about this scene that it's a little out of order, but the scene that Alicent has with her brother in episode 6, talking about her other son. Yeah. And he tells her, he's as good with a lute as he is with a sword. He's like, I don't hear from him anymore. He is a 16-year-old boy. He's
kind.
He sounds like Rhaegar Targaryen.
He does.
He does. Yeah.
But that's the thing, is where she tells him he's kind, and she's like, oh, was it, it was what turned my boys into this? Was it the Red Keep, or was it me? And he's like, oh, you did the best you could. And everybody watching the show was like, no, she really didn't. She really didn't, buddy. She didn't.
She did a shitty job, but I will say that where they grew up, and Viserys being kind of a shitty dad, and basically being raised by Kristen Cole.
Yeah.
dude, if Kristen Cole was my paternal figure growing up, I'd probably be a piece of shit as well.
Yeah, who is clearly still suffering from some PTSD. We see that a lot and more in episode 5. You know, when Alicent, when he sides against her in the high council, and she's like, "Why would you do that?" He's like, "You don't seem to fully grasp just what this war actually is." Like he's like, when she first sees him, she's like, "What happened?" He's like, "I lost 900 men." Plain and simple. I lost 900 men. And then later on, he's like, I watched people walking around still on fire. Like, I went up and touched a guy on a shoulder and he disintegrated. Most of these, and it was a big thing in that episode too, when Rhaenyra says to the guy under council, like, we've seen nothing but peace in our lifetimes. You haven't seen any more battles than I have. And it's when you realize none of these people have seen battle. None of these people have seen battle in God knows how long.
With the exception of Damon and Corlys fighting in the Stepstones. You're absolutely right. Nobody has really seen war.
The whole reason Cole got picked.
Reason why, the reason why Cole got picked by Rhaenyra is he's the only one that had seen battles in Dorne.
Yeah, and even that was small potatoes. Like, it
didn't involve dragons.
Yeah, it wasn't this shit.
This is probably going to show how like Team Black I am, but these 2 episodes, I'm like, Alicent is so dumb. I was like, she's
so dumb.
I was like, oh, you're upset that the team that says we don't want women to rule doesn't want you to rule? Like, oh, I wonder why.
You've based this entire campaign on no, a woman shouldn't be ruling. It should be the firstborn son.
And here's
what universe did you think?
I don't doubt that she would be a more diplomatic regent than Aemond. Like, I don't doubt that she might even do a better job overall. But like, why even try? Like, it would defeat the whole purpose. It would basically just be you saying, "Oh yeah, maybe Rhaenyra is the one that we should turn to right now."
Because then it goes, well, then why can't we just have her? Well, and now the people are thinking, why can't we just have her? Because they've been fed now.
Mysaria is a genius.
Sorry, there's a reason she's the unofficial master of whispers for Rhaenyra's court, and also the master of some other things.
And I love how this is a true triangle. Love triangle, where each side has thoughts about the other side. Yeah.
Also, I just want to point out, and I saw this in a lot of reaction channels today. Like many people in that scene, she was like, "You look good with that sword," and I was like, "No, they're gonna bang." And then 2 scenes later, they do, and I was like, "Wait, no, I was kidding." I watched like 5 different reactors today make the exact same joke in the exact same scene, and have everybody go, "Wait, no, wait, really?"
And I love that they're kind of bringing this back because when young Rhaenyra and young Alicent, and both of those actors, Millie Alcock, and I'm forgetting the name of young Alicent's actress, but they talked about how they played their scenes as 2 people that were kind of lusting after each other, that they had a romantic love for each other. It wasn't just 2 best friends. So there's always been a part of Rhaenyra that is a little gay. And I love that we're seeing that now with adult Rhaenyra.
Oh yeah, Rhaenyra is super bisexual.
Oh yeah, that whole opening episode with them in the Godswood and all the stuff with callbacks to the pages. I mean, we said it on this very channel in every single video, which is like, oh, they real gay. They're real into each other. Yeah. Emily Carey was the actress who played young Alicent. Olivia Cook is who plays her as an adult. And that, especially when the conversation between her and what is the character's name again? The lady, the white.
Oh, Mysaria.
Sorry,
Mysaria.
Too many names. I mean, when Mysaria was telling her story, I was like, this is a story that is told between 2. This is not something that is just a story told between 2 people who just kind of trust each other. Like, this is a intimate, not in a sexual way, but just this is an intimate story between 2 people. Like, they're about to make out, aren't they? Yeah, they are. Okay.
She fully trust Rhaenyra to say this because isn't that something that she's probably told anyone? Because that would show
bet
her
Damon doesn't know.
vulnerability. Yeah, Damon definitely does not know.
No, well, no, because why else would he make up that whole cockamamie lie about her being pregnant? He would. I mean, even if he did know, I don't think he would care how much that would fuck with her. But I also, I feel like if that was known, he wouldn't have said anything.
Yeah,
so.
And I love that it makes that scene between her and him in Dragonstone even more, where she's pissed off at him. Now we really know why she's pissed off at him. So I love that when you add stuff later on that makes previous scenes even more powerful.
Yeah, because at first you think, oh, well, that's just don't use me as a fucking pawn in your shit, dude. Like that's all that feels like. Now it's like, oh, no, that really hurt. Oh, that's awful. We didn't spend a ton of time either of these episodes in the Vale. I mean, like it's pretty much in episode 5. It's just Rhaenyra's there, and it's just like, wow, everyone at the Vale just sucks. What is it about this place that everyone here sucks? Whether it's now or 200 years from now, everyone at the Vale sucks. But we also find out in this episode, well, we're only there for like 30 seconds. There's a wild dragon out there. There's an unclaimed dragon running around.
I think we're going to have a sheep stealer sighting here before too long.
I was going to say, Vander, do you think Rhaenyra's going to get the other character's story?
I often wonder, and I don't think this would be much of a spoiler to tell anybody, but there's a character in the books called Nettles. She's just a young, scrawny black girl. Even in the book, she's black. I know that obviously the Valyrians are not in the book. They're white. But just this little scrawny bastard-born black lady who very adventurous, very assertive for a younger lady. And she comes across this wild dragon. And she's one of the ones when they put out the word that says, if you think you might have some good enough blood for it, you can tame one of these dragons. Go for it. It's yours if you can do it and fight for us. Sheepstealer is a dragon that has never been ridden before. These other ones, Vermithor, Sea Smoke, Gray, I forget the Gray Ghost. These are all dragons that have belonged to other riders in the past. Sheepstealer is not that. It's a relatively large dragon, so it's been around for a while. It's been wild for a really long time. And there's a character named Nettles who ends up conquering Sheepstealer.
Okay. What about those ones that Damon found down underneath Dragonstone?
That was Vermithor.
That's Vermithor, and what's the other one?
There was only one down there. The one that he was Vermithor?
Okay. And he's currently not claimed because he's a big scary boy.
He hasn't had a rider since Viserys's grandfather.
Okay. So I won't ask who's going to ride him because I'm assuming that he's just Chekhov's dragon at this point. We're waiting for his rider to come around, unless we've probably already met them. Who knows? We'll see. I'm scrolling through the wikis over all the locations, seeing if we also got
real quick. I have a quick note based on what I just said. Yeah. I said what I said with me assuming that we are not going to ever meet Nettles. I don't think Nettles is going to be introduced in the show. Gotcha. Otherwise, I wouldn't have said that. Obviously, I wouldn't completely spoil that completely. I literally don't think that we're going to see Nettles in this show. Fair. I wish I was wrong, but it just all signs are pointing to not that.
They did the same thing with the Harry Potter movies with Peeves. They took a lot of his stuff and either erased it completely or gave it to other ghosts or the twins or whatever. Speaking of the twins, Jace goes and treats with the Freys. Over with by the way, dope location setting. Just
Freys
right there in the middle of a bridge. Super into it. Love it. Let's just drink wine.
That's their power. That's the power of the twins is that they have that bridge. You need to get over across this bridge. You're gonna either pay us a lot of money or we're gonna get something out of this. Like it's a rundown place, sort of like, nobody really looks up to them as these very regent, beautiful people, but they use their power any chance that they get.
And of course the Freys want Harrenhal.
Of course. Well, they know damn well, look, you guys only give a shit about us because you need us. And being needed is a very powerful position to be in.
Jace handled it very well. He's a young diplomat.
Jace handled it like a pro. Just like, oh, you want that? You want that? All right, cool. Kneel.
Jace is coming into his own. He's showing that he's a better diplomat than Damon, because Damon's having a hell of a time at Harrenhal in the
Yeah.
Riverlands. He's also has this idea about the dragon seeds. So he's kind of showing like, use me. I have ideas. I can be a diplomat. I got my dragon. Please use me. And Rhaenyra is scared to because of Luke.
I love how Harrenhal has become almost the chia pet of the Seven Kingdoms, where it's just like, we just hand this thing off to whoever. We really don't give a shit who has control of it. You want it? It's take it.
Right.
Please. If
You want to be haunted?
you want to have this as this is your bargaining chip? Okay. I don't give a fuck. We don't give a shit.
Listen, at the beginning of Game of Thrones, it's Lady Wentz, and then Janos Slint, is granted the lordship of Harrenhal because of his, service to take down Ned Stark. Then fucking he gets sent to the wall. So they're like, oh, we're gonna give it to Littlefinger, and then Littlefinger ends up going to the Vale to get the Vale, and it's just nobody. It is an ancient seat that is of very importance just because of its location in the heart of the Riverlands. Like, having Harrenhal from a military standpoint is perfect. That's why Tywin Lannister sets up camp there. That's why Roose Bolton sets up camp there, because they know it's like, a place for your army to rest and have a good vantage point. But nobody ever wants to be lord of that place. Only poor people who get only somebody who's being promoted into it wants Harrenhal.
Yeah, just that's your rite of passage. It's your first, like, it's your first supervisor gig at Walmart when you're out of college or whatever. Your first assistant manager job. Yeah, it's a shithole.
Yeah,
but it's doing something to Damon. That much is for sure. One of the things I noticed is just, man, being a shitbag runs in the phrase bloodline. Just all of them.
They're all cunts.
They're all just, they're all the worst.
The only good ones are like the fifth sons and the bastard sons. They're the only ones that are halfway decent.
Staying in the Riverlands, going back to Alice Rivers, she totally killed Grover Tully, right?
That was so badass.
Oh, 1,000%.
She said in 3 days' time, just wait, give it 3 days, dude. Yeah. I like Alice. I really like Alice Rivers. I like the way they're playing her into the show.
Oh, me too. I'm trying to look up her. I need to look up her name because she has been doing great. Gail Rankin. Gail Rankin is playing Alice Rivers. Yeah, she's been. Sometimes characters like that can get exhausting after a while. Like Melisandre, after a while in Game of Thrones, it was like it was like Winter's Coming 2.0. It's like I don't care. I'm hoping that Alice Rivers goes somewhere, unlike Melisandre, whose ultimate goal was just to set the barrier on fire. So I'm assuming you guys can't say anything without spoiling, otherwise you would have chimed in by now. So
I think Alice is a character that we don't really I don't know the best way to put it.
Just not someone that we have a ton of in the book, so it's
no, we get quite a bit of her in the book. Okay. But I don't know. She's one of those people that you just never really know what's going on. Like Littlefinger, perhaps. Like Littlefinger in the Game of Thrones books, he never had viewpoint chapters. Like every chapter was named after whichever character's perspective it is. He never had that, so we never really got to see what his motives really were. And even when he did tell people his motives in dialogue, he was usually lying. So Alice is kind of like that, where like the mystery of it is what's intriguing.
And we're seeing a little bit more of her in a way of just with her and Damon in episode 5, where she's talking about women and children are the ones that get the worst of it in wars. And she's kind of showing a little bit of the like love for the small folk, but then also is like straight up for sure murdered Grover Tully. So it's just like, she's an interesting character.
Yeah. A lot of truly interesting characters making interesting moves. I mean, we haven't even gotten into like the atrocities committed in Damon and Rhaenyra's name. through what happened in episode
Blackwoods.
5 with the Blackwoods. Thank you, the Blackwoods. I was scrolling trying to find it.
Yeah.
With them saying, like they wrote in that he was explicit. This is the second time now he's given explicit constructions, and they've not been followed. The first time was you're going to kill blonde hair with an eye patch. And they just said, no, we're going to kill the first blonde kid we find and walk out of here. Oh, that's not a problem, right? No, now he's in trouble. And this one, it was, hey, the throne can't have any connection to this. You guys need to go take care of this yourself. And then make it look like
flying their banners.
And they did it flying their fucking banners. So he's realizing more and more, no, Damon, you don't understand. People genuinely don't give a shit what you have to say, dude.
Yeah.
Stop.
And I think he's going to have to make a power move in this next episode. Yeah. In the trailer, we did see him seemingly preparing to execute somebody. I believe that somebody will end up being whatever, I forget.
Willem Blackwood.
Willem Blackwood, yes.
Yeah, because he's the one who ultimately kind of screwed the pooch for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially if, for all we know, they could come to call on the phrase could come to call on their claim.
And it looks like when I was seeing the preview for next episode, they're around that werewood tree, and it's like all of the lords of the Riverland are there. So I think there's gonna come to a consensus of, Willem gonna have to die for us to be okay with everything.
Yeah. Oh, and we also did see the dog got the dog got some love.
Yes.
The dog got some love. So all is well.
We love Hugh the Hammer.
Yes, we do. We love Hugh the Hammer. We got 2 episodes left this season. Not much time left. Not much time left this season.
As Game of Thrones, the second to last episode is always a doozy.
It's always a doozy. Yeah, we're doing two. Last season was 10 episodes. This one's only 8. So, I'm Lonnie Hairstare. I probably butchered that last name. Is directing the next episode. Has not directed any episodes of the show yet. And I'm not familiar with his work. I worked on Banshee, American Horror Story, Warrior. He's worked. So I don't think he's new. So
it doesn't sound like he's a battle kind of director. So I'm guessing he's probably some choreography is what.
Yeah. We're gonna see some, because Warrior was a martial arts crime drama that ran for 3-4 years. So he's done some action stuff. I think we're gonna see. I don't know. I think you're right. I think fight choreography is definitely gonna be the big thing. But Soul is absolutely right. The penultimate episode of these shows tends to always be
based on the preview. We saw roughly, just in the trailer alone, like 5 dragons in it. So we're gonna see a lot of dragons. Vermithor was in there. It's the one that Rainier is showcasing to everybody, obviously, that is coming to try to claim a dragon. And then you see Sea Smoke, obviously, with Adam. You see her dragon. You see Sheep Stealer. Perhaps I thought it was Sheep Stealer. It looked like an
Silverwing. That's the other one.
Yes, that was
Gray Ghost. Silverwing.
That was Viserys's grandmother's.
Yes. Yeah.
But looking forward to the last 2 episodes.
The sowing of the seeds.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be so much. Let us know what you guys thought of these 2 episodes down in the comments. We always love to know. Please, again, no spoilers in the comments. We just don't do that. Don't be that person. Don't do it. Let us know what you guys think. You can always follow us on all the social medias. All the links and stuff are down in the description. And we will see you guys again next time here on Off the Wall. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll see you later. Bye, everybody.